Hey guys, it's Shamika with the Divine Power, accessing your divinity. And what I want to talk about really quick is the lack of emotional stability in relationships, and especially in divine soul connections like twin flame connections. This is something that a lot of times, like, I get a lot of people, they'll come to me and they're like, you know what, I kind of flipped out in a way that wasn't really me. And I know I've experienced this myself. You know, in divine connections where you have a soul connection with somebody, those connections are really intense, and they're meant to be. You know, they're meant to be because they're part of your evolution. They're meant for the growth of your soul. Okay? So you are experiencing things happening that are pushing things to the surface that you don't know are there. Okay? So the other person could think that this is like normal behavior for you, but it's really not, and you know that, but you're kind of flipping out. You know, you're acting in a way that isn't really you. It's really out of character. This is what I want to say about that. Anytime you find yourself acting in a way that doesn't feel like you, and there's something that's kind of pushing it to the surface. Now, it doesn't have to be a relationship or a divine connection that's causing it to happen. It's just that a lot of times that's what it is. That's what causes it for a lot of people. But it doesn't have to be that. Okay? So whenever that's happening, you have to realize that that is usually a childhood wound. It's a wound that you've experienced, and you're kind of living from hurts from when you were a child. This is one of the reasons when I work with people that want to do spiritual healing with me, I always recommend inner child healing. Because we think that we're, you know, adults in this big adult grown-up world because we're out here, you know, we have kids of our own, you know, we have businesses, we have jobs, we have careers, you know, we've got things going on. So we think that we're adults. But the truth of the matter is we're not as adult and mature as we think we are. And you'll see that in those little behaviors that come up for us that aren't really who we are, but we're kind of responding from some type of like built-in program or pattern, like this is the way we respond to this. And it's coming from childhood. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you have never taken the time to do some inner child healing, and okay, what is your inner child? Your inner child is the child you that still exists within you. Okay? Who you were as a child still exists within you. It's not gone. It's not gone because you're an adult now. So the same pains, hurts, fears that you experienced as a child, if nobody, really you, because it really doesn't happen. Nobody else does it for you. But you have to go back and talk to that child. You have to go back and give that child the hug that it needed. You know, tell that child the truth about themselves. So like if you were abused and you were told really horrible things about yourself as a child, that stuff is running in the background. It's a program that's still shaping your life. So what you want to do is you want to go back and you want to heal that. You know, you want to go back and imagine yourself being that small child, and you want to tell yourself what you really needed somebody else to tell you. You will be surprised because you think that you've gotten over that stuff, but you haven't. You haven't until you actually face it and you're able to give that child what no one else gave it. You think about what it was you needed as a child that nobody gave you. You know, and it's different for everybody. You need to go back and make that right. You need to go back and be the adult that needed to be around when you were a child. And give yourself that. And it's an immense level of healing that occurs with that. You'd be surprised at the healing impact that it has and its ability to transform your life. Okay, so I really recommend it, because otherwise you're going through life where there's things happening and at times you are responding as that broken child. You really are, and you don't know it. So a lot of times if you have like really reactive, impulsive types of behaviors, a lot of times it's coming from that. It's coming from that angry child that was lashing out because they didn't get attention, or, you know, and sometimes even as a child, it's the way you perceive things. You have hurts from childhood that sometimes aren't even justified, but in the mind of a child, it is. It's the way you perceive things. So sometimes you need to go back and make those perceptions right, and you would be surprised at the amount of healing that can occur from that. It's truly life changing. You know, it's definitely something I had to do. You know, I went through a lot in my life, and I had a lot of traumatic experiences. So I definitely had to go back and do that. And I still do. You know, you have to form that relationship with your inner child in order to really have emotional stability. And if you don't do it, especially if you had traumatic experiences, abuse or anything like that, and you don't do it, you're going to have immense inner turmoil because your inner child needs healing. Okay? So just wanted to throw that out there, guys. That is another way to access the divinity within you and live from a place of divine power within yourself. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.